Did you see Raw?
Yep.
All right, so the show opens up with the Judgment Day comes out, and Priest is kind of like conspicuous about where's Finn? He's still very aggravated. Okay. So Priest said they will dictate what happens as long as he holds the Money in the Bank contract, and Priest said that Balor would dominate Cody. Priest said Balor should be saying that himself, but he wasn't there. Priest told viewers not to get it twisted and said they weren't breaking up, but he said again that Balor should be there. We're here. Where's Finn Balor? Priest asked. And JD McDonough comes out and makes his entrance to the mic and Priest told McDonough to be very careful with what he was about to say. And McDonough put over Judgment Day and asked if he could enter the ring. And once he did, he said he had a message from Finn, who told him to worry about the real targets, Cody and Sami. Then Ripley got mad at JD McDonough and said they don't take orders from anyone, especially people who are not part of Judgment Day. And then Dom tried to speak and continues to get people just drown him out whenever he tries to get a word in still. And he said he just found out that Canada is part of North America, meaning he's a champion of this dump. And then McDonough said he meant no disrespect, it was just delivering a message. And Ripley told McDonough to tell Balor that they needed to talk. Then Sami came to the ring and went right after McDonough because he took him out last week, and they started brawling. Judgment Day just sat there and watched this because that's not this. Those two had an issue. Then what's his name? McDonough ran Zayn into the post and got some heat on his arm, which was still bandaged up and in a brace and stuff, everything. And they went to commercial. What do you think?
It's weird. I was looking at the ratings, and it's reported on the Observer that the first quarter hour was unusually low. It was actually only 1.58. So, but the quarter following that, where the match between Sami and JD continued, went up, and the highest quarter of the night was later on with Nakamura and Rollins. But
was there a Monday Night Football game on?
Dave says
I think there was. Yeah, New Orleans.
No. He says it was due to the final game of the NBA playoffs.
The what?
He must have wrote that wrong. That's not right.
No, there was a Monday Night Football game on.
Yeah. I just looked at the date. Yeah. That's weird.
No, there was Monday Night Football was on Monday, so that's why.
That must have been it. I imagine
people like at 9 o'clock see football's on, So
yeah. Somebody tell Dave that his report is wrong.
I don't know, but I mean, so then we come out of the break and Sami versus JD McDonough, and basically Sami beats him in 11 minutes and 45 seconds. JD McDonough is pretty good. Because it's weird. He's got like spots where he's got good attention to detail and spots where he doesn't. It's kind of like he's kind of still a little like he's a really good worker, but he's still a little bit green on TV in here. I notice. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dissecting things too much. You know what I don't like? I don't like when you're getting punched. Okay, like okay, a guy's punching you. Okay, and you're standing there, and bro, you're not selling with your arms are not selling. You're just standing there with your arms at your sides and you're just selling your face. It's like, bro, somebody punches you, like pull your arms, grab your face, like I don't know. But then later in the show, in the match, he was like really paying attention to detail. If like he hit his angle, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't like the way he sells punches. Being constructive criticism on the camera. But I like his look, and I like his accent too. He speaks well. What do you think of this match? Anything?
The Sami Zayn McDonough.
Yeah.
That one? Yeah, I thought it was a good match because, Sami Zayn was trying finding ways to work in the match with like an injured elbow, which is legitly injured.
Right.
And so I thought this was good. This is a good way to showcase this guy. He didn't win, but he lost to one of the biggest stars, and he gave him a competitive match.
Right.
So yeah.
He's a decent character in that angle because he's a voice. Right. He's speaking, making sense and stuff and everything. And Finn obviously and him have got this thing going on, so it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't doubt if he joins the Judgment Day and they kick Priest out. That wouldn't surprise me.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but it's funny when Dom flinches when the pyro goes off. But yeah, I like this. This was a good segment.
All right, so when I watched this on Hulu, I was like, it didn't seem like there was anything there was not a lot of content on the show. So I went and read this. I usually just read the review for the first time, but I read this yesterday. Okay, this reads. Okay, you try to tell me because you saw this. I'm going to read this segment. You tell me how much interest you have in it.
Right.
Chelsea Green was shown holding both the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, and Pierce said Sonya Deville suffered a torn ACL. That's horrible. He was about to strip Green, but she stopped him and threatened to call his manager and then human resources. That sounds funny. Pierce asked what she expected to do in this situation. Green said she would hold auditions for her next tag team partner. That's funny. Caden Carter and Katana Chance entered the room, and they started to speak about how they would be ready to challenge Green and her new partner. But Piper Niven burst in the picture with a boot to the head of Chance, and Niven told Green that she's her new partner. And Green indicated that Niven would need her name and number, but Niven took one of the title belts and firmly declared herself as Green's new partner.
Mhm.
What did you think of this?
I thought that was corny. I'm not a Piper Niven fan, and I don't know, I don't know. I don't even know what to think. But Green was great in her role. Whatever she was dressing looked fresh as shit. And so now you can just come up to somebody and say, I'm your tag team partner and we're the tag team champions. I mean, yeah, and I'm not a fan of it.
The idea is she's not going to tell her no because she's a big and she could beat her kind of thing, right?
Right.
All right. Still, I'm not into that. You know.
And so Imperium makes their entrance. It's Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Gianardo da Vinci. And they go to commercial. Then Byron Sexton interviews Cody in the backstage area, and Cody spoke about how he admires Balor for being a leader in Ireland, Japan, and Rhodes said Balor isn't the only leader in Judgment Day. Cody said he hadn't wrestled Winnipeg in years, be ready for Balor and the entire Judgment Day faction. So Gunther, they do these promos now where Gunther stands on top of the broadcast table. I think it's a good look. Gunther turned his focus to Gable and said he was really impressed with his victory last week, but he said Gable is a former Olympian and might be the best athlete the company has to offer. Gunther said it was ridiculous to think that Gable could defeat him. Then Gable interrupted with a very loud, long swoosh, swoosh, and walked on the stage with Otis and Maxine Dupree. Gable recalled lasting 5 minutes with Gunther and said that now Gunther's on the clock because he's just weeks away from becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. That's true, though, by the way. Sheamus has been doing a funny thing on the internet.
Right.
On his Twitter, right? Sheamus has a pretty funny Twitter. I started following him. He's been trying to say he constantly does these tweets of let's protect the legacy of the Honky Tonk Man. So he's tweeting pictures off because Honky's the longest running Intercontinental Champion of all time. Right. Gunther's approaching him, so Sheamus is always putting Honky Tonk pictures up and everything. It's actually pretty funny, right? Yeah. So Gable said the only thing that stands in his way is a guy who's been working for this opportunity for 10 years, and Gable called for Vinci to get in the ring and learn a few lessons. Then Kaiser and Gunther entered the ring, and Kaiser said Da Vinci would embarrass Gable just as he embarrassed Gable's freak friend Otis last week. Then Kaiser said Dupree will eventually understand that she should surround herself with European elegance. And Kaiser called Alpha Academy a sinking ship, and he said he was reaching out his hand to her, and she could either let him save her or have a 360-pound anchor drag her down. And then Dupree slapped Kaiser across the face. What did you think of this? The dynamic between Kaiser and Maxine Dupree? Because I will be willing to bet a year's pay that she is going to end up with these guys because she looks like she'd be a hot European side chick, with that group. Right. What do you think?
Yeah, she would fit in with them. I thought it was too long. That had to be the longest shush I've ever heard.
And this segment,
thank you right after. Yeah.
For as long as the verbiage was the segment is far from over. Okay, because they did Chad Gable. I'm sure you're not happy with the booking of this. Chad Gable wrestled your boy Gianardo da Vinci, and he beat him in 5 minutes. Are you happy with that result?
Yeah, no. But there was a good match while it lasted.
So then they do some verbiage after that, and then it ends up with Gunther against Otis in a non-title match, and Gunther defeats Otis in 5 minutes. So they just traded victories and this.
Right, that was good. I like that, and I like that Otis at the beginning. See, this is what the people like. He was doing little dance moves. The people were into it, So he had some good heat before he locked up. But bro, they were hitting each other really hard. Otis wasn't pulling back either. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the way when you work that guy, you got to, if you don't give it back, you're going to look like you're getting squashed out there. Okay, because he's hitting you. If you're light with the guy and he's smashing you, the people can see that. So it's you got to bring it when you wrestle that guy. Right. So backstage, Damian Priest barked at Finn for not showing up for their segment, and then getting popped in the eye for JD McDonough. The Balor said Priest need to relax. The Ripley cut in and said they were the most dominant faction, yet nobody fears them due to the way they were acting. Then McDonough shows up again, and Priest told them that they were handling Judgment Day business, and Balor stepped in and ended up telling McDonough he would talk to him later. Then Balor spoke up about how they had an opportunity to show the world how strong they are. Balor said Rhodes wouldn't know what hit him, and the other Judgment Day members got fired up about being united and going after Cody. And basically, they kind of got back on the same page a little bit there. Well, what'd you think of this? Anything?
Which one were you talking about?
The backstage segment with the Judgment Day with JD.
Oh, yeah. Where Rhea Ripley came in between them. She goes, "That's why nobody respects us anymore. We're losing power because we're at each other's throat." Yeah, it was good. Good storyline progression.
Overdue. All right, so next is footage aired from earlier in the day of Matt Riddle asking Drew McIntyre to team with him. And McIntyre said if Riddle didn't find a partner, he'd consider it. Riddle dropped the "so you're saying there's a chance" line. Indy Hartwell video package aired. I didn't see that. Did not make it to Hulu. She says she's done with doubt. She said she came from Melbourne, Australia, worked her way for this moment. Does that make you interested in her? That she's from Melbourne and worked her way for this moment?
Yeah.
If she mentioned Jacob, then would you be more interested in her?
No.
So Drew and Matt wrestled the Viking Raiders, and the Viking Raiders have actually a pretty cool entrance. The way they produce it, but
yeah, they do.
But then they go out there and get beat. 9 minutes. Drew and Riddle beat them. I don't know what's going on. There's really no storyline. Just they're beating guys. Indy Hartwell. Let's see here. Indy Hartwell was warming up in her dressing room while Candice LeRae stood by. Then Rodriguez entered the room and said they still haven't cleared her. She told Hartwell that this was her night. All right. Backstage, Riddle spoke to McIntyre becoming WWE Tag Team Champions and got interrupted by the New Day. Then Riddle wished Kingston a happy birthday, and Kingston said it takes more than winning one match to become Tag Team Champions. Then Kingston challenged McIntyre and Riddle to face him to find out which team would make a run at the tag titles, and Riddle accepted the match on behalf of the Glasgow Bros. Okay. Glasgow Bros. What do you think? So Rhea, I didn't. This did not make it to Hulu either. Judgment Day's all over the show. Rhea wrestled Indy Hartwell and beat her in 3 minutes. Whatever, I don't know if this was complete, But why bring Indy Hartwell in? Just do a package. She's got a match against Rhea, and I don't know. This is nothing for anybody here.
No, she didn't get anything in. Like a couple moves, Rhea just dominated her and beat her.
Yeah, I guess giving her a package was the perception she wasn't just a jobber, which is the way she was treated in this match, I guess.
She's just a jobber with a video, nothing.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So Cole stood in the ring and introduced Nakamura. Cole asked Nakamura why he attacked Rollins, and he said, "I want the world title." And Cole asked Nakamura if he needed to kick Rollins in the head, and Nakamura spoke in Japanese. And Nakamura said in English he will win the world title. Nakamura was interrupted. Seth Rollins made his entrance dressed all in white and a very feminine outfit is what I would like to
let me throw two names at you. Very Jimmy Jacobs Prince.
Right. Yes, and he had the man bun too. I don't know why this guy's a babyface, because that's like everything that I would look at a character that be a heel, he dresses the part, So I don't know. He said Rollins gave him credit for playing it to perfection last week. He said, "You set me up and you knocked me out." And he questions really about the world championship. Well, he added that he's not hard to find. He's a fighting champion. And Rollins said all Nakamura had to do was ask for a title shot. And Rollins said he didn't ask, so now everyone was wondering why he did what he did. And Rollins said he's less concerned with why Nakamura kicked him in the face and more concerned with how he gets even. Rollins said he had a surprise for Nakamura. "You win," Rollins said. He added the best way to get what he wants is to give Nakamura what he wants. And Rollins said challenge accepted, and they shook hands to meet for the world title. And then Nakamura got another kick on him again and laid him out again. So this was not bad. But, like I said, it's kind of weird. Seth Rollins has not gotten away from all the gimmicky way he dressed to get heel heat. But because everybody sings his song, he has to be a babyface. He could go back to being a heel if he just had a different ring music. They can change the song and be a good heel,
Yeah, but he was getting over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so all they did was just, keep him as is, not change anything. He's so over that he's wearing heel clothing because he was wearing it at the beginning to get heat. Remember all those weird suits that didn't match? And then he went more into the flamboyant, like Prince type, and the people still dig him. All
right. All right. So this was good. I like because it's a good teaser because it's an interesting little progression here. Byron Saxton interviewed The Miz after highlights of Miz's confrontation with LA Knight. Miz said he verbally tore down Knight and proved he's better than him on the mic and in the ring. Then Saxton said Miz shook Knight's hand, which Miz denied. Then Miz asked Saxton if he thought Knight was somebody after he beat Top Dollar, and Saxton said, "Yeah." Miz got upset and said he would beat someone bigger, faster, stronger, and more dominant than anyone Knight has ever faced in his entire career. And then he said he might show up on SmackDown, he might not. So that's a little tease for them maybe having another confrontation on SmackDown. Right. I got a call from a text from Miz the other night, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, he was in Vegas and he wanted to come into the club, but it got late and everything. So I told him I called him and I told him that his stuff with the was really good. He with his thing with LA Knight was really good. He said thank you.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Next is Becky Lynch against Trish Stratus. I guess this was kind of like a blow-off match on regular TV, and
I hope so.
basically, what's her name? Zoe Starks came out, and then there was a double count out, so it didn't. It's just I don't know. I couldn't care less about this. To be honest with you. Getting comments of this is just like they just keep throwing Zoe in there and 2-on-1, and it's going
Right.
nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that ended up in a double count out. Stratus looks great for her age. She still has some ring rust.
Right.
The timing is definitely not there. They fought into the stairs, into the what do you call this? Into the that concourse area thing.
Right.
And then of course, who shows up?
Zoe Stark.
Zoe Starks, right?
Yeah, so that's backstage. Gunther told Giancarlo da Vinci that he has been a disappointment since he came to Raw. Gunther said Ludwig Kaiser was more focused on a girl than doing his job. And Kaiser said he was absolutely right. And Gunther said he would talk to Adam Pearce, and if Chad Gable wants his title, he'll have to take it off from next week. I think that Gunther and Giovanni should refer to him as my Führer. It's like this guy's had a kind of like a German, remember the show what was it, Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah, Werner Klemper, the
right? Yeah,
German sergeant.
Clink and Sergeant Schultz.
Yeah. I see nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
These guys can very easily do a comedy gimmick.
Bro,
with that dynamic.
I saw that show not too long ago. I hadn't seen it in years. What great comedy, great character work. They were actual characters. Yeah.
Sergeant Schultz.
Yeah.
Schultz and Clink.
And the great thing about Schultz is you could always manipulate him by giving him food. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So next they go to backstage, and Adam Pearce caught up with Stratus and Stark, and implied that Stark was at ringside despite the match stipulation. So next week he booked a cage match against he booked Stratus in a cage match against Lynch, which upset Stark. So I guess they're continually having more and more matches. But I don't really know why they're fighting. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of heat anymore.
Because did she turn on Becky Lynch?
Yeah, but it's like, the heel here is wearing a face mask. So it's she's fighting with the broken face. It's like,
right.
All right. Who's really like,
right.
It's kind of like an admirable quality, right? So I don't know.
Right. When she lost the match during the match and put it back on, I was like, all right.
Right. So
there's no heat here. There's no real. We know what the issue is. She turned on her, but they didn't do a good job after that, and so I think that's why we're uninterested.
Right. So next is Cody versus Finn. And Dominic and Rhea came out, and Cody caught Dom with a kick and then set up to suplex him, and Balor caught Cody with a baseball slide kick. So they're out there interfering. But Damian Priest walked out carrying the Money Bank briefcase, and Cody set for his finisher, but Balor countered it. Then basically they do a spot in the ring where there's a bunch of interference. They slide the suitcase in the ring. It goes between Balor's legs right to Cody. Cody picks it up, boom, boom, hits the heels. And and gets them 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Dom attacked Cody, and then Priest joined in the big breathe down. But Sami Zayn's entrance played and came out with a chair, charged a Priest, and he started hitting people with chairs. And JD McDonough appeared in the ring out of nowhere. It took out Zayn with a forearm to the back of the head. Then Priest finally looked at McDonough, kind of like, okay, this guy's like, maybe this guy is on our side and everything. And then they basically massive beatdown on Cody and Zayn, where they multiple coup de grace on the floor and everything, and they just laid the baby faces out and got good heat to end the show. What'd you think of this?
And they put what's this guy's name, Zayn, through the table. Yeah, this was a good main event. I liked it.